Right now, I want to talk about TQA education and just plant the seed right now in how we're training. Because I think whether we're training a horse, a cow, a dog, or people, I think most of the time we just need to realize we're constantly training, either good or bad. And so, we were raised around stockmen and horsemen, and they wanted to be better stockmen and horsemen. And so you'd have someone with a horse that was running off and bucking, and guys like Tom Dorrance and Ray Hunt and that line, they'd get in there, and then the horse would relax, and you wouldn't have the behavior problem. Or it was a cow, and working with the cow. And so that's kind of how I was raised, around good horsemen and good stockmen. A program designed to help trainers reach their goals. And so one of the things I want to help parents, for me, I want to be a better horseman, I want to be a better stockman. I'm rodeoing, our kids are, I want to do that, but honestly, I appreciate everyone here. Partly what I'm passionate about doing is trying to be a better husband and dad. I'm trying to figure out that. So I appreciate everyone here as we're trying to run our cows and coach. And that's part of this, is just to slow things down, to teach our kids, to teach our horses. We have 3 of these shows. When the spring rolls around, we'll be busy sorting and gathering and branding and rodeoing. These 3 shows is, hey, let's just slow down. A program designed to help trainers reach their goals. What is our goal? And I think that's part of it. We'd like to have a more productive family atmosphere. And I think most of us, I see a lot of cowboys here, Nick and Walt, most of us, we go, it's like, what's the most important thing to you? Well, my wife and my kids, that's the most important thing. But then we go out and work our cows and do a job, and that relationship sometimes gets to be the main thing that's sacrificed, And so partly I'm just trying to get us all together as dads and break that down. So we need to stop and think and go, okay, what is my training thought process? And I'm going to give about a 10-minute lecture here, and then I'll turn this loose. And I need to stop and think, whether you're training a horse, a cow, a dog, a kid, or your employees, stop and go, what is my training thought process? So this is what I teach. There's 2 different training thought processes. One is forcing the body. The other one is influencing the soul through understanding identity. Totally different thought processes. One is, I look and I need that cow to move to get over there. This horse needs to stop. It's just the body, the outer structure of a cow or a kid or a wife or an employee, they just need to move and do what you want them to do. So the focus is on forcing the body. But what happens sometimes is we're focused so much on moving the body, we ignore the rest of the part of the horse or the cow or the dog, and we don't really know what's going on the inside. So that was kind of my master's. How I defined that inner part, you can see some circles here. So we have the body, then we have the soul, and I break down the soul is the mind, the will, and the emotion. So if I'm training something, I need to influence their mind, their will, and their emotion. So part of TQA, it's called attaining the training trifecta. So it's temperament, foundation, and task completion. So there's task completions we need to get done. There's jobs that need done. But then the foundation and the temperament are those other 2, the attitude. And then specifically stress. And so part of that is I break this down. We have body, we have soul, and then there's an internal part I call identity. So we have body, we have soul, and we have identity. And I break this down all the time with my students. So are you forcing the body, or are you influencing the soul through understanding identity? So I break down, this is partly what I got my master's on identity into 3 primary driving factors and 2 underlying driving factors. So I'll just take a horse. A horse was created to be a horse. In his identity, he's a horse. Okay? So what does that mean? He has things, there's 3 primary: self-preservation, comfort, companionship. The 2 underlying are confidence and energy. That's what's driving him. So the very first thing I need to realize is they're a prey animal. So anytime they do not have confidence in any situation, they're going to fall into their self-preservation, which is flight, flight, freeze. That's how they were created. They're prey animals. Okay, the other thing, they're herbivores. They are designed, they are created to graze 17 hours a day. So part of self-preservation, comfort, companionship, a big part of their comfort of what they're seeking is food. So as you're training them, 17 hours a day, they want to be eating. So most of the time, they're going to want to try to find food. So if you give them their head, they're going to try to find food somewhere to graze, because that's how they're created, is to graze 17 hours a day. The next one is environment. They seek comfort in an environment. So part of that could be where you're housing them. Part of that could be if it's hot, they want to get in shade. Part of that, if it's raining and it's hitting them in the face, they'll move their butt to seek a different, more comfortable environment. That could partly work to our advantage. So if they're seeking comfort in the environment with the other horses, and I give them their head, and I make it uncomfortable, they'll leave that environment to go to another environment that's more comfortable. Ultimately, they're constantly seeking comfort, so I can use environment to my advantage. Does that make sense? I can make this environment uncomfortable and this environment comfortable, and they'll want to go there. What happens is a lot of times a horse is comfortable in their environment out in the pasture, and then we catch them and it's continually uncomfortable. We're branding, we're doing different things, and everything is crazy and there's no pressure and relief. Does that make sense? And that's what I'm going to kind of go through here. It's the same with kids and employees and everything. The more we work our cows, the more precise we need to be, the more uncomfortable of an environment it is for everyone. Okay? And the last thing is a herd animal. So horses are herd animals, so they're naturally going to have a draw to other horses. The two underlining is confidence and energy. Whenever a horse loses confidence in a situation, they're going to fall into their self-preservation to seek that comfort and companionship somewhere else. Now here's how I want to tie all of this together. Guys, it's the same thing in coaching kids. There's a body component where, hey kid, you need to get on your horse. Hey kid, you need to open the gate. Hey kid, you're leading with your bottom strand. There's the part that they need to do in their body. Hey, you need to get up. You need to get your clothes on. You need to feed there's things that they need to do in their body. Okay, they have little minds, little wills, and little emotions. Okay, they think, they want, they feel. Okay, what's more important than that is they have an identity too. They are seeking identity. They're trying to figure out where they have comfort and companionship. When they get tight and scared, there's the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. One is stressed, one is comfortable. People or animals don't like to be stressed out, so they're naturally going to try to find comfort and companionship somewhere else.
This is a graph showing the sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. Up at the top of the graph, the animal would be operating in their self-preservation. At the bottom of the graph, in their parasympathetic nervous system, they'd be operating in confidence and experiencing comfort and companionship. You can see at the top of the graph, the animal or person would be operating in high adrenaline, high cortisol levels. Toward the middle there, you can see the dopamine, and we'll talk more about that in other graphs, the importance of dopamine in learning.
So here's the big thing that I struggle with, that all us dads struggle about. We don't want to suck as dads and husbands, but a lot of times we do, because we are seeking our identity in being a better cowboy, in being a better horse trainer, in being a better stockman. That's where we're seeking our identity. And a lot of times the environment of being a cowboy, a farmer, we're getting attacked by the environment of all the crap that needs done. So our identity is being attacked. We're being attacked by our environment. We don't have comfort in the environment that is attacking us on trying to be a better cowboy, a horse trainer, or whatever. So our identity is under attack. So then what do? Or parents, you're under attack. You're trying to be a good mom. You are under attack. So when you are in your sympathetic nervous system, you're not being driven by comfort and companionship. So what do we naturally do? What does an animal do when they're in their sympathetic nervous system and they're stressed out? It's unhealthy. It's flight, freeze. So a lot of times you can say, what's the most important thing in your life? You can say, oh, being my wife or my husband and my kids. But it's not. The most important thing, just stop and go, where is my identity? Is your identity truly in being a better husband or a kid? Or is it in being a better cowboy or a freaking 4-H mom or dad or a rodeo? That's where my identity is. So whenever your identity is being attacked, we get fear-driven, because that's where we're seeking comfort and companionship. What I'm trying to do is slow things down, and everything I'm teaching you is everything that I currently suck at very bad. Okay? So we're going to go over here and we're going to teach top strand and bottom strand. There's a right way of swinging a loop, there's a wrong way. Okay, that's what I'm trying to break down is what is the different parts of a human being, what is the purpose, what is the meaning. Let's slow down and get things right. A program designed to help trainers reach their goals. I think most of us as sports competitors, where you call it rodeo or ranchers, our goal is not to have constant conflict in our marriage and with our kids, to ultimately get a divorce and have our kids that do not experience comfort and companionship with their identity and their parents, so they go seek that identity somewhere else, in drugs or the opposite sex. They're seeking that. So a horse, a baby colt, naturally gets that with its mom. That's the most natural place for a baby colt to hit the ground to seek their identity in their mom, right? That's why horses, baby horses, act just like their mom. And that's what I'm trying to do is parents, your kids naturally have that identity where they're trying to model and do what it means to be, trying to seek that. And so that's what I'm trying to do here, to slow down, to help us get more productive in our teaching and our coaching, to teach our kids how to rope, to teach them horsemanship, stockmanship, roping. The goal of this is to slow down as husbands and wives and teachers and coaches. Slow down. Let's try to be better husbands, better fathers, better teachers, better coaches. Let's come together and help our kids learn correct muscle memory in the fall, in the winter, in the spring. So when it's crazy with high school, junior high, gym, state, rodeo, and everything we need to get done at the ranch, we've slowed down and we're ready to go brand, we're ready to go doctor, we're ready to go do the ranch type stuff. And so that's what I wanted to hit on that. So what are you coaching? That's what I wanted to go through, okay? We have the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, and the self-image. So everything in this program, there's two different parts of your brain, your cerebellum and your cerebrum. In your cerebrum is where you do your thinking and reasoning. So you have to physically think about how you do something before you do it. Your subconscious mind is your cerebellum, which just you naturally do it. Everyone that picks up a rope naturally leads with their bottom strand. Naturally, it is wrong. Everyone that steps in a pen with the cow, naturally you're doing it wrong. Okay, you're not reading flight, you're just pushing them. So on the TQA score sheets, I have videos. And I have score sheets to help parents and kids spend time in their frontal lobe thinking and reasoning how to do it correct. When I rode broncs, I watched videos of Billy Atbauer, and I got the picture of what it looks like. So that's the focus of this. There's videos you can look and go, oh, if I'm going to rope, I need to lead with my top strand, not my bottom strand. So we spend time in our frontal lobe programming correct muscle memory until the subconscious becomes natural. So if you look at these circles, we have the conscious mind, which is thinking and reasoning how to do it correct. The subconscious mind, which is you don't think, you just naturally do it. And the last little circle here is the self-image. These three things really shape how well we are in any sport or anything. So to summarize the whole TQA program, we're trying to achieve our goals, attaining the training trifecta. Okay, we're going from the inside to the outside, that identity to the mind to the will to the motion, till they have correct muscle memory in the body, so that our kids can go be more productive and more successful. Okay, does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
The conscious, the subconscious, and the self-image. And I think that's one of the things, when you're stressed out as a husband or father, we're not focused on that self-image sometimes. We're not focused on the identity. It's just focused on moving the body, and sometimes we miss a lot of those things that really have the opportunity to shape a kid's identity.